Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 5 of Total Drama The Ridonculous Race. So, last time we did our second elimination. And, yeah, it was, or was it our third? No, it was our third elimination. Yeah, because our first elimination were the LARPers, the second one was the tennis pros, and the third one was the geniuses. Yeah, so last time we had some we stayed in France, but we did like some sand castles and whatnot, and it was pretty fun, pretty interesting. But the geniuses were overthinking things. They were just, you know, trying to do way too much thought and everything, and it held them back. It caused them to just, lose because of everyone else getting there faster than them. They didn't even complete it. Every other team completed it. They were still stuck on the sandcastle. So now we go into the next episode, and we're actually heading out once again to a different location. I don't remember exactly where it is, but we'll obviously get reminded. One big thing, one notable change is that from here on out, we're going to be using the HD uploads of this series on YouTube, because for some reason, apparently, all of the episodes of this, and from what I've heard, all the episodes of Total Drama in general are on YouTube. And it's like, okay. But I found specifically the Ridonculous race on here, because I was looking for a picture from the last episode to use as a thumbnail, and I saw this on YouTube. I saw this from a YouTube link, and it's like, oh, okay. So I don't know what to think going into this. I again, as usual, don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to look better now. I can say that with certainty. We might need to figure out the volume control and exactly where I want to place that, but yeah. So, not really much of anything else to say though, so we're just going to get right into this. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in. Everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, we have no elimination this time, because this apparently wasn't an elimination challenge. Which does kind of lead to an interesting concept here. Because it kind of goes to show that there will be some challenges that won't be elimination. And that kind of leads into the episode amount that this series has. I was kind of wondering that. I felt like it wouldn't really add up properly if every elimination or every episode or whatnot had eliminations. So it's just this is a good way to do it. But let's talk about this. I feel so fucking bad for them. Like, I'm the type of person who, even if I disagree with someone's ideologies or lifestyle choices or whatnot, I can still sympathize with them on that. I can still look at them, look at their choices, look at their lifestyles, and say, like, I get it. Even if I'm not a part of it, even if I don't even agree with it, I understand, and I'm going to treat you properly through that. And the only thing that would change that is if you ended up being a shitty, terrible person and lost the right to be treated properly. But yeah, it's like, whether it's a different religion, whether it's just different cultural differences, or whether it's stuff like being vegan or pescatarian or just having different dietary things, or just even just not liking certain things that maybe I love. It's like I'm perfectly fine with that. And I'm not going to judge someone for something like that because that's one, fucking rude, and two, extremely insensitive. There's a lot of reasons that people choose to be vegan. And I'm speaking as someone who has experience with the culture with my mom being vegan. And I've had multiple friends who have been vegan. And sometimes it's because of a love of animals and the planet. Sometimes it's a love of just healthy eating. Sometimes a mix of both, and various other reasons here and there. And that's all completely valid. And so when I see like any kind of media or whatnot where it shows like vegans like being like mistreated or made fun of, it does bother me. And I'm not a vegan by any means. I eat meat. I love meat. I just had plenty of meat in the Taco Bell I got for lunch the day I'm recording this. I love meat. And I loved trying out different kinds of meat. So honestly, that eating challenge would have been definitely up my alley. But at the same time, I respect people's decisions to not eat it for whatever their reason is. So when I see someone being like mocked or mistreated because of stuff like that, it bothers me because it's like I wouldn't want to be mistreated for stuff like that, for the fact that I'm queer or for the different shows I'm interested in and stuff. I wouldn't want people to judge me on narrow-minded bullshit, so why would I do the same to others? And it really pisses me off when I hear stories about how people either joke about doing so, or I've actually heard stories about people actually doing this, tricking vegans into eating meat. I've heard stories about people who have actually done this, who have actually like tricked vegan friends and family into eating meat against their will and knowledge, and that shit pisses me the fuck off. If a vegan chooses to eat meat for one reason or another, like once or twice or here or there for whatever reason, like in the case of this, they chose to do so to continue on in the competition and try to, not be eliminated, even though it ended up being kind of a waste of time in the end anyway. It's just, if they choose to do that, that's their choice. But if you try to force someone to do that, if you try to force a vegan to eat meat against their will and knowledge, there is a special place in hell for you. Like, that is not just fucked up, but that is extremely insensitive and shitty. It is just absolutely terrible. And anyone who does shit like that, or even jokes about possibly doing shit like that, can fuck right on off, in my opinion. It's like you don't fuck with someone like that. You just don't do that to anyone. Not just for vegans, but for other people too. Whatever the situation may be. I've legitimately heard stories as well of people who have, again, tricked people into eating stuff that they're allergic to because they don't believe that they're actually allergic to it, or they think they're exaggerating it. And it's like, oh my fucking God, what the fuck is wrong with people? Sorry. I'm getting myself into a bit of a tizzy here. I apologize. I'm going off the deep end. Let's move on before I make myself angrier. So the Goths won. The Goths won because they know Icelandic, because a lot of their favorite bands are Icelandic, and they weren't afraid to eat the food. They just completely own this challenge, and it's like, hell yeah. And the girl got to speak. Like before this, only the guy had spoken, but now we got to hear her speak too. And it's like, yeah, they're giving us more with these two, and I really like it, and I really like them. They're honestly, yeah, they're my favorite team so far. There are other teams I like, and we get to see them in this. I actually like the vegans, and with feeling super sympathetic towards them with this episode, I'm actually like really like rooting for them as well now. Um, and then there's like the best friends who definitely should be a couple. Like I like them as well. And again, other teams who are just like either I like one member and hate the other, or some teams I just can't stand at all. But it's like it's good to see that some other teams are getting a little more development here, and some teams are even changing as this goes along. Like we actually see little hints at my theory coming true in this episode with the stepbrothers. We actually see them show a tiny little hint of possibly showing some common ground and even almost celebrating with each other. And on the other hand, another part of my theory on the lovey-dovey gym couple breaking up, that also is showing hints at possibly happening. Because we see that she's becoming way too overly aggressive to the point where it's actually starting to scare him. And me. Like she's becoming a little too aggro. um, and we're seeing like other groups have dissension, more and more dissension, like between the mother and the daughter, between the two sisters and everything. And then there's other teams who are having their own kind of troubles. Like Jeff's partner is barely hanging in there because of all the electrical shocking. And it's like we're again, as I've stated this before, we get focus on different characters at different times, different teams and whatnot, and it allows them to shine. And that's what is really holding this series together, because it's such a large cast. By having certain episodes focus on other characters, it's like, oh, when are we going to focus on this character? Oh, we focus on them in this next episode? Well, cool. It gives me something to look forward to. Oh, we focused on this character or this team, so we're going to not focus on them as much in the next episode, but we'll come back to them again and maybe get a little more with them. And it's like, that's definitely what is tying together this series, and I love that. I think that's a great way to handle it. So I'm, like I've said before, I'm very much enjoying this. But I would love to hear your thoughts, as always. So tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Total Drama, The Ridonculous Race? And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.